I got my first credit card over 10 years ago, and along the way, I've learned a lot of things that you must know to make sure you're getting the most out of your cards. But even more important is that you're not using your cards incorrectly and hurting yourself. From knowing how much to spend on your credit cards to the Chase 524 rule, these are 7 things that you need to know. And the first thing on the list would be to only spend what you could afford to pay off every single month. Treat your credit card like an extension of the money you already have, not like a 30-day loan. That's because if you're late a payment, you'll have to pay a fine, which is never fun to pay. Although on your first offense, they could probably waive the fine. But if you're more than 30 days late, then it'll start affecting your credit score, as 35% of the score is made up of your payment history. Your credit score is not something you want to mess with, especially in the US, because a lot of big decisions you'll need to make require a good credit score, like deciding on a good place to rent, or getting a credit for a new car, or getting a mortgage for a house. Heck, a 1% difference in your mortgage interest rate could mean over $100 a month of difference, and over a 30-year mortgage, that's $36,000 more that you'll have to pay. So what about minimum payments? Yes, companies will let you pay a minimum payment of $20, $30 so you won't get dinged with a late payment fee. But at that point, you're basically borrowing from the credit card company and paying insanely high interest rates of like 30% a year. So remember, pay off your credit card bill in full every single month. And an easy way to do that is to make sure your auto pay is turned on. That doesn't mean you shouldn't look at your bills every month or so, but it makes sure that you won't ever have a late payment. Now, if you have a lot of credit card accounts that you don't ever use, should you close those accounts? In most cases, no. I mean, if you have to pay an annual fee for these credit cards and the value you get from the cards is not high enough to offset that annual fee, then by all means downgrade or cancel the card. On the other hand, if it's a no annual fee card, I don't think you should ever really cancel it. A no annual fee card will cost nothing for you to keep open, but will give you a boost in your overall credit limit. The amount of debt owed, or basically the amount of credit you use, makes up about 30% of your credit score, the second largest category. Say you have a few credit cards and that adds up to a $10,000 credit limit, and then you use $3,000 of it. That'll equate to a 30% utilization ratio. But say you have other old credit cards laying around that you never use, but you don't cancel, and it bumps you up to a $20,000 credit limit. Well, at that point, your utilization drops to 15%. Ideally, you want between 1 and 10% of utilization, but if you can't do that, then staying under 30% is usually good enough. Note that I didn't say 0% utilization, because if you have a ton of credit and you don't use it, that just shows that you don't need the credit and it doesn't demonstrate how well you pay off your debt. So don't just go and open a ton of different credit cards because of all the attractive sign-up bonuses and never use any of them. Which brings me to my next point, which is to make sure you're hitting the minimum spend to get these sign-up bonuses on all of these credit cards. Because almost all credit cards with a sign-up bonus will require you to hit a certain minimum spend. On the Chase Freedom Flex, it's hitting a $500 in spend in the first 3 months in order to get $200 and a 5% back offer. Or on the shiny American Express Platinum card, it needs you to hit $6,000 in spend in the first 6 months in order to get 100,000 membership reward points. For people familiar with credit cards, we know that the bulk of credit card benefits come from these sign-up bonuses. I mean, with the Chase Freedom Flex, you're basically getting a free $200 for a typical few months in spend, and for a no annual fee credit card. More on that in the top right corner. And for the American Express Platinum card, 100,000 MR points is like a couple $1,000s in value in my books. That said, bonus tip, don't be afraid of credit card points. Yes, cash back is a lot simpler, and you can probably get 2% back on everything you spend using those type of credit cards. But if you put in just a little bit of work and understand how points work, you could be getting 2, 5, or even over 10 cents a point in value sometimes for these type of credit card points, which is something I break down in a video comparing these cashback cards with credit card point cards up in the corner. But before you go and look for all of these high sign-up bonus cards, You'll want to know about tip number 4, which is to not open too many credit cards in a short amount of time. Most of the time when you sign up for a credit card, these companies will pull your credit to see how good of a borrower you are and how safe you are. Certain cards may need a higher credit score, like the American Express Platinum card, or for more basic cards, you may just need a decent score, like the Discover It card. These credit pulls are also called hard pulls, which do affect your credit score. Imagine you see someone who's trying to open 10 different credit cards and getting 10 different hard pulls. Well, that's a sign that they might be needy and desperately need credit to use, which is a sign of riskiness. Every time you get a hard pull, your credit will also drop a few points temporarily. So you want to keep that in mind when you know you're going to apply for things like a car loan or a mortgage. There are a couple exceptions though, where some issuers, if you try and sign up for multiple credit cards around the same time, that they'll bundle it all together to one hard pull. But as a general rule of thumb, try and spread out your new credit cards to at least 3 to 6 months in between. Although that may not be enough in certain cases, which is my tip number 5, to make sure you're understanding different unique rules that issuers might have. For example, if you look at credit card forums, you'll see a lot of people talking about how they're 124, 324, or maybe they're at the 524 cap. Those people are talking about Chase's 524 rule, which means that if you signed up for 5 cards in the last 24 months, no matter which issuer, then Chase will start denying you any additional cards. This is why you should be mindful which type of cards you're signing up for, especially because Chase is one of the most popular card ecosystems. Then there's American Express, which has a once in a lifetime rule, meaning if you sign up for the personal platinum card and then later cancel and then try and sign up again, you won't qualify for the sign-up bonus. That is not true for the Chase ecosystem, which is key. Now, what does that all mean for you? Well, that means for American Express, you should really only sign up for them if they're at all-time high offers, like the American Express Gold card, which gives you 75,000 points and up to $250 when you hit the minimum spend. And for Chase cards, make sure you sign up early so you can start the clock, knowing that in the future you technically could cancel or downgrade and sign up for the card again to trigger another of the sign-up bonus. Now, there are probably a lot of other small edge cases here and there, but another big one is for co-branded cards. For example, both the Chase or American Express Marriott cards have a clause where if you had one of the cards recently, you won't qualify for the sign-up bonus of any new cards. I learned that the hard way because I really wanted to sign up for one of the new Marriott cards, but I still had an old Marriott Premier card that I never canceled, meaning I didn't qualify for that bonus. I've since canceled that card, so if any amazing offers come up in the future, hopefully I'm able to get those. Alright, so tip number 6 would be to make sure you're checking your statements every now and then, even if you have autopay on. That's because you'll never know when you might get hit with fraudulent charges. A few years ago on my Chase Sapphire Preferred, I got hit with a couple fraudulent charges within a year's time. One for a random car rental service like in another state I don't even live in, and the other was for a bunch of Instacart purchases also in another random state. The benefit of using credit cards is that they all pretty much have a $0 liability clause, meaning as long as you identify the fraud and then tell them, they'll basically give you money back and then start their own investigation. Both times I had fraudulent charges, it took a max of 10 minutes on the phone with them to get it resolved. Okay, and tip number 7 is to make sure you understand the perks and benefits that come with your card. Because of course you want maximum value from your cards. Whether you're talking about the coupon book style American Express Platinum card that gives you hundreds if not thousands in offers, or a more basic card like the Chase Freedom Flex giving you Lyft and DoorDash, or the lesser known but really helpful cell phone protection. Lots of these benefits can come in really handy and add up to a lot over time. Most platforms also have offers that you can add to your card to give you even more discount, but they make you have to go in and manually add the offers onto your account before you can use them and get the benefit. So maybe once a month, go through these lists to see what offers you could use and add them to your card, because there's no cost or harm to do so. That's just one of the many amazing ways you can save money when shopping with credit cards. But there are so many other ways that have saved me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars when I shop through experimenting over the years. So check out this video where I go through all the tips and secrets I use. That said, I hope that these 7 tips help you on your credit card journey, and I'll see you in the next one.